Hi, this is Suzanne Wachtel, and today we're going to discuss boundaries. The reason I want to discuss boundaries and made it into an episode is I feel that boundaries are really a huge tool that help us feel safe, help us really be true to ourselves. They're basically rules that we abide by, that we create for ourselves. So just to let you know, I was raised with no boundaries. My mother had no rules, and the rule was that there was no rules. And therefore, you had to kind of wing it. You didn't really know when you were crossing a line. You didn't know when something was appropriate or inappropriate. There was really no basic boundaries for me as a child to follow. And as a result, as I was growing up, I never really had a very good structure in place. Now, thank goodness, school teaches a lot of structure, has a lot of boundaries, a lot of rules, and that's why it's not chaotic, right? You know, when you arrive, your expectations, you're expected to behave a certain way, expected to do certain things, have certain things done to you. The teachers are nice. If you do your work, you get rewarded with good grades. If you behave badly, you get punished and perhaps put on detention or sent to a principal. So boundaries are very important. Now, some people are raised with boundaries that are way too strict. Rules, regulations, no wiggle room, no room for creativity. Just that you have to follow these rules and that's the way it is, and there's no lack of boundaries in anything you do. So, as an adult and in therapy, one of the things that I look at when people come to me, and due to my own experience with boundaries, is I really see if their lack of boundaries or having too many boundaries is working for or against them. So let's take an example. Let's say you have a family member that is very overbearing, very toxic, very negative, but out of guilt, out of duty, out of a lack of boundaries, you allow them to take advantage of you, that you allow them to just come over whenever, to go out of your way to take care and help them. And then you start to get resentful because you're giving way more than you want to or that you're capable of. So a boundary in that case would mean that you set it up with this person and you say to them, I can call you once a day, but I cannot call you 5 times a day. I can come and help you once a week for 2 hours, but I can't come every afternoon after work to buy you things or bring things or do things for you that need to be done. Therefore, what you're saying is, I can do this, but I can't do that. And by doing that, you're showing that you have the boundary, you're giving a limit, and you're also behaving in a way that is much healthier by not just letting people take advantage of you. Now, especially in the case when you're a giver, like a kind person, and you really do enjoy doing things for people and helping them, and, other people that are manipulative and have an agenda, they love people like that, the givers, because they can take advantage. They can make you feel bad if you don't do for them. They can make you feel guilty. And I know that people say no one can make you do anything. But if you have no awareness of this, it just happens and you don't even understand why you feel so terribly bad, why you're feeling sometimes depressed and angry. Because let's face it, when someone is asking for more than you have to give or want to give to them, whether it's time or money or acts of service, you start to get resentful and you're not being authentic. You're not being true to yourself. So boundaries are a wonderful thing. In fact, I always recommend that people watch Brené Brown. That's Renee with a B. And she does a lovely podcast about boundaries and explains it additionally in another way. So please feel free to look her up, Brené Brown, and check out her podcast and her ideology about boundaries. Now, another boundary that's important is when you're a mother and you have small children. Children have no sense of time, so they will, without intentionally trying to do it, they will suck the life out of you and leave you exhausted and irritable, and sometimes in a mood of fatigue and exhaustion that will really not present your best self. You may yell, you may get cranky, you may behave in a way as you're parenting that you regret later. So even with parenting, you need to space it out. You need to understand and be honest with your limits, what you're capable of, how much time you can give, and it's really important to take time for yourself. So a boundary could be that, yes, you take care of your child, but then once or twice a week, you have somebody help you so that you can go take care of yourself. That's a boundary. I had a mother who had, as I mentioned, no boundaries. And when I resumed a relationship with her later in life, I was partially her caretaker. And as her caretaker, she had no problem expecting me to be there every day, all the time, give up my life, not go out, not see friends, only be for her. Well, that did not work for me. So my boundary was that I told her what I could do. I can come on Sundays and spend the afternoon, but at 4 o'clock I need to go home and make dinner for my family. Well, even if she didn't like it, I had to be strong and stick to the boundary that I created. Another boundary was I would come and take her for the day. I would go to yoga in the morning or the gym or exercise. And at noon, I agreed I would come, I would pick her up, take her to do whatever she wanted, a movie, shopping, lunch. It didn't matter what we did. But by limiting the quantity of time, by limiting the amount of days that I donated my time, yes, it's my mother, but I still have to take care of myself and my family and my job, then I did not resent her. We actually enjoyed quality time together most of the time. And that was the boundary for that. I have people in my life at times that are very needy. And that's fine. But I understand that my boundary is I can only do what I have time to do. Unless it's an emergency, I need to set boundaries with these friends and just say, listen, I can help you this day, but not on that day. I'm free on Tuesdays, but I have things to do. I'm free in the afternoon. So just lovingly, you don't have to be mean when you're setting boundaries, but setting boundaries is the most beautiful gift you can give yourself. It's time. Every week I've decided to work later in life as Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, allowing myself 2 days off, which is Tuesday, Thursday. Tuesday I claim as my Goddess Day, which sounds kind of silly, but what I've defined in my Goddess Day, it is a day that I take for me to do whatever I want. I'm not helping people unless I choose to do it as my Goddess Day. I go to yoga, I may get my nails done, I may have my hair blown out, I may take a walk, I may visit a friend, I may go shopping. The wonderful part about declaring and claiming a Goddess Day for myself, it drew a boundary that day is off limits for anybody to ask anything of me unless I offer and I choose to do it. So that was a boundary that really helped me. Boundaries are just you feeling that you are allowed to really do things for yourself, that you can say no. Permission to say no is so liberating. Permission to say no means hell yes. I don't have to, and I don't have to feel bad if I just can't do it. If somebody asks you to do something and you can't do it or you don't want to do it, say no. You know what happens? The funny thing is, you're so worried about what they're going to think of you, they end up asking someone else or doing it themselves. So it usually works out. So my point today, I don't want to go on and on about it, but I do want everybody to understand that having boundaries in place, understanding what boundaries are, not feeling badly about having them or establishing them, and learning to say hell no or hell yes is your right as a human and as a person. So on that note, I'm going to say goodbye for now, and my boundary is that it's time for me to go home. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.